and welcome back to another episode of Courts This Week, your go-to source for the latest legal updates presented by LiveLaw. I'm your host, Ostika Das, and I'm here to take you through the most significant updates from this week. From the corridors of the Supreme Court to local judicial proceedings, I'll be providing you with clear and concise summaries that keep you informed and ahead of the curve. But remember, for a more in-depth understanding, do visit our website at www.livelaw.in. In today's episode, we cover the Tirupati Laddoo row, Supreme Court guidelines on punitive demolitions, plea for Kashmir statehood, and much more. So let's dive into the headlines. In the ongoing Tirupati Laddoo controversy, the Supreme Court has established an independent special investigation team to probe allegations regarding the use of adulterated ghee in the preparation of laddoos offered as prasadam at the Tirumala Tirupati temple. The court emphasized that an independent body will inspire public confidence, hence replacing the SIT initially formed by the Andhra Pradesh government. The newly appointed SIT will consist of 2 officers from the Central Bureau of Investigation, chosen by the CBI director, 2 officers from the Andhra Pradesh State Police, nominated by the state government, and a senior official from the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. This investigation will be under the supervision of the CBI director. During the hearings, Justices B.R. Gavai and K.V. Vishwanathan discussed several petitions seeking a court-monitored investigation and raised concerns over comments made by the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister, Chandrababu Naidu. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta remarked that any element of truth in the allegations would be unacceptable. However, the SG suggested that the investigation of the SIT can be monitored by the central government officials. The bench said that it wished to avoid any political drama and there will be confidence if the probe is conducted by an independent body. With this, it disposed of the petitions filed by Dr. Subramanian Swamy, ex-TTD chairman Y.V. Subba Reddy, Suresh Chawanke and Dr. Vikram Sampath. This week, the Supreme Court bench comprising Justices B.R. Gavai and K.V. Vishwanathan reserved its judgment on petitions challenging the practice of using house demolitions as a punitive measure, often referred to as bulldozer justice. Last month, the Supreme Court announced its intention to issue comprehensive pan-India guidelines on demolitions and in the meantime, issued an interim order mandating that no demolition should occur without its prior approval. This interim order has been extended until the court issues the guidelines in its much-anticipated judgment. In related news, a contempt petition alleging the illegal demolition of Muslim religious and residential structures in Gir Somnath has been filed in the Supreme Court. The petition was brought by a trust representing the Patni Muslim community of Prabhas Patan, with senior advocate Sanjay Hegde arguing that the structures in question dated back to 1309. Hegde pointed out that no demolition was mentioned in the notices issued and that this action contradicted the Supreme Court's earlier order from September 17, which required court approval for any such actions. He further noted that several mosques, dargahs and residential houses were under threat. While the Supreme Court has sought Gujarat government's response to this petition, it declined to pass an interim order to halt the demolitions after Solicitor General Tushar Mehta explained that the demolition activities would fall within the court's exception, permitting the removal of encroachments on public spaces and areas near water bodies. This matter has been posted for further hearing on 16th October. In another notable development this week, the Supreme Court has granted interim protection from arrest to Malayalam actor Siddiqui amid serious allegations made against him in a rape case. This legal action follows claims made by a young actress who alleged that Siddiqui sexually exploited her in 2016. The allegations surfaced following the release of the Justice Hema Committee report, which highlights issues of exploitation within the Malayalam film industry. The actress filed an FIR accusing Siddiqui of rape and criminal intimidation. Last week, the Kerala High Court dismissed Siddiqui's plea for anticipatory bail, citing prima facie evidence of his involvement in the alleged crime and rejecting his argument regarding the delay in filing the FIR. In response, Siddiqui has now filed an SLP or special leave petition with the Supreme Court. This week, a bench of Justices Bela M. Trivedi and Satish Chandra Sharma issued notices to the respondents and also raised concerns regarding the 8-year delay in bringing forth the complaint. In related news, this week, the Kerala Women's Commission submitted a counter affidavit to the High Court recommending the introduction of a new law titled the Kerala Entertainment Industry Equality and Empowerment Act. This proposed legislation aims to tackle the challenges faced by women in the entertainment sector. Additionally, the state government has also filed an affidavit suggesting the creation of a new film policy for Kerala. These proposals were presented to the special bench comprising Justices A.K. Jayashankaran Nambiar and Justice C.S. Sudha, which is responsible for hearing matters related to the report of the Justice Hema Committee. This week, the Supreme Court intervened in a controversial case concerning the Isha Yoga Center founded by spiritual leader Sadhguru by restraining the Tamil Nadu police from further investigations following directives from the Madras High Court. The High Court had previously addressed a habeas corpus petition filed by a father who claimed that his two daughters were being held captive and brainwashed at the ashram. Although the daughters appeared before the court, asserting that they were there voluntarily, the High Court ordered an investigation into serious allegations against the institution. The Supreme Court was informed that a large police team had entered the ashram for investigations, raising concerns about the impact on the thousands of visitors present. Senior Advocate Mukul Rohatgi, representing the Isha Foundation, urged for urgent consideration, and Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, on behalf of the central government, supported the petition, arguing for caution in the High Court's decision. A bench led by Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud transferred the habeas corpus petition to the Supreme Court and instructed the police to provide a status report. This matter is now set for hearing on October 18. In a significant judgment this week, the Supreme Court has granted relief to Aam Aadmi Party leader Arvind Kejriwal and Delhi Chief Minister Atishi Marlena by staying a criminal defamation case filed against them by BJP leader Rajiv Babbar. The case revolves around remarks made by Kejriwal and Atishi concerning the alleged deletion of voter names from Delhi's electoral rolls back in 2018. Initially, the defamation proceedings were stayed in 2020. However, the Delhi High Court recently vacated this stay, prompting the summons for both leaders to appear in court. In this week's hearing, Senior Advocate Dr. A.M. Singhvi, representing Kejriwal, argued that the complaint lacked legal merit as it was submitted by Babbar as a representative of the BJP, a non-determinate class of aggrieved persons. Conversely, Senior Advocate Sonia Mathur, appearing for Babbar, contended that the complaint was duly authorized by the BJP and Babbar was representing the party and not himself. The bench noted that the title of the case did not clearly indicate that the complaint was on behalf of the BJP, leading to further scrutiny. This week, the Supreme Court has issued a landmark ruling aimed at eliminating caste-based discrimination within the prison system. In a decisive move, the court struck down provisions in various states' prison manuals that assign jobs based on the caste of inmates. The court held that assigning cleaning and sweeping to the marginalized castes and assigning cooking to higher caste prisoners is nothing but a direct caste discrimination and a violation of Article 15 of the Constitution, which prohibits discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. The ruling came in response to a public interest litigation filed by journalist Sukanya Shantha, who brought attention to the stigma and social hierarchy perpetuated by these discriminatory practices. The court criticized how certain prisoners were assigned menial tasks based solely on their caste, reinforcing systemic inequality. Importantly, the Supreme Court directed all states and union territories to revise their prison manuals to abolish caste-based job allotments and ordered the removal of caste columns from prison registers altogether. Additionally, the court initiated suo motu proceedings to ensure compliance with these directives, with the next review scheduled for 3 months from now. This week, a significant application was filed in the Supreme Court urging the Union government to restore the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir within 2 months. This region was reclassified as a Union territory in October 2019, following the abrogation of Article 370 that had granted it special status. This reorganization led to the bifurcation of the erstwhile state into 2 union territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. The miscellaneous application has been filed in the already disposed of matter concerning Article 370. In the Article 370 judgment, if you remember, the Supreme Court, while upholding the abrogation of special status, had refrained from addressing the constitutionality of the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act of 2019. This omission was based on the Solicitor General's assurance that statehood would eventually be restored. The petitioners, college teacher Zahur Ahmed Bhatt and activist Khurshid Ahmed Malik, emphasized that no steps have been taken in the past 11 months to fulfill this promise. They argue that the non-restoration of statehood undermines the fundamental principle of federalism. Furthermore, they highlighted that recent assembly elections were conducted peacefully, indicating no significant security concerns that would impede the restoration of statehood. The Supreme Court has addressed the pervasive discriminatory attitudes faced by women in public office in a case involving a female sarpanch from Gram Panchayat Vichkheda in Jalgaon district who was disqualified on dubious technical grounds. Residents petitioned the collector claiming that she resided with her mother-in-law in a house on government land. The collector disqualified her without investigating the allegations, a decision that was then upheld by the Divisional Commissioner and later the High Court. The Supreme Court bench comprising Justices Suryakant and Ujjal Bhuiya expressed serious concerns about the unjust removal of elected representatives, especially women, in rural settings. They noted that the villagers' reluctance to accept a woman as Sarpanch led to an orchestrated campaign to disqualify her. The bench condemned the casual approach of the authorities, stating that the removal of an elected official without proper verification undermines efforts towards gender equality and empowerment. This week, the Central Board for Film Certification informed the Bombay High Court that actress Kangana Ranaut has consented to the cuts proposed by the Censor Board's revising committee for her controversial film Emergency. The division bench, led by Justices Varghese Kolabawala and Firdosh Pooniwala, heard a petition from Zee Studios seeking a certificate for the film's release. During earlier hearings, the CBFC revealed that certain cuts were necessary for the film to receive certification. Following a meeting between Ranaut and the board, it was confirmed that she agreed to the suggested edits, although time was needed to implement these changes. The court was reassured that the alterations would not significantly affect the film's overall content, as they mainly pertain to minor edits. Later in the week, the Bombay High Court was informed that the makers of the film Emergency have resolved the issue regarding necessary cuts and edits with the Central Board of Film Certification, and the film will proceed toward certification after compliance with the suggested changes. Accordingly, a prayer was made to dispose of the plea filed by Zee Studios, and the judges agreed to the same. In a notable ruling this week, the Allahabad High Court has commuted the death sentence of 3 men convicted of the gang rape and murder of a 17-year-old girl in Bulandshahr, reducing their punishment to 25 years of imprisonment without remission. The horrific crime occurred in January 2018 when the accused forcibly abducted the victim, assaulted her in a moving vehicle, and ultimately strangled her when she resisted. Initially sentenced to death by a POCSO court in March 2021, the court described their actions as deeply unsettling and fear-inducing for the public. However, upon reviewing the evidence, the High Court bench comprising Justices Arvind Singh Sangwan and Mohammad Azhar Hussain Idrisi determined that this case did not meet the rarest of rare criteria necessary for capital punishment. They upheld the convictions but highlighted mitigating factors such as the absence of a prior criminal history and the youth of the accused, suggesting that rehabilitation remains a possibility. In a significant development, the Jharkhand High Court has directed the CBI to look into allegations of a nexus between the coal mafia and local police officials in Dhanbad. The case stems from accusations of illegal coal mining operations and the involvement of law enforcement in the racket. The petitioner, a journalist, alleged that a police officer was working hand in hand with the coal mafia. The court, presided over by Justice Sanjay Dwivedi, found sufficient grounds to transfer the investigation to the CBI. And this decision was made after noting the reluctance of the local police to register an FIR despite several opportunities. The court also criticized the state government petition challenging the decision to involve the CBI, describing it as unjustified and reiterating that the local police had failed to act appropriately. In a shocking incident reported this week, SP Oswal, the chairman of the Vardhman Group, was duped by cyber criminals who orchestrated a fake Supreme Court hearing impersonating the Chief Justice of India. The scammers swindled 7 crore rupees from Oswal by tricking him into attending a fabricated court proceeding regarding a purported money laundering case. He was allegedly instructed to deposit funds into an account during this fake hearing. This incident highlights the growing trend of digital scams, particularly the digital arrest scam, where fraudsters use WhatsApp calls and Skype video calls to impersonate judges and police officers to extract money from unsuspecting victims. Fortunately, police efforts resulted in recovering the embezzled funds on September 30th. Oswal described the fraudulent court order as so meticulously crafted that he believed it to be legitimate. The Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center has already blocked around 1,000 Skype IDs associated with such scams. This alarming case serves as a crucial reminder for individuals and businesses to remain vigilant against increasingly sophisticated cyber frauds. And while we are on the subject of cybercrimes, it is also noteworthy that the Guwahati High Court has issued new guidelines directing trial courts to release seized funds from cyber fraud cases reported on the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal to the victims based on police verification without the need for an FIR. And that's a wrap for this week's Legal News Roundup. But before we bid adieu, the entire LiveLaw team has a small request for our dedicated viewers. As an independent and fact-driven media organization, we are deeply committed to fearless and ethical journalism. To continue bringing you the latest legal updates, especially in this dynamic audiovisual format, we rely on your support. So here's how you can help. Give our video a thumbs up if you found it informative. Share it with your family, friends, classmates and colleagues. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insightful content. Drop your valuable thoughts and feedback in the comments below and hit that bell icon to stay updated with our latest releases. Don't forget to visit our website at www.livelaw.in for our in-depth reports and analysis. Not only this, but the LiveLaw channel offers memberships for only ₹89 per month. Become a part of LL supporters today to access exclusive perks such as loyalty badges next to your name in comments and live chat, priority reply to comments, and for our student pass audience, early access to explainers and legal updates. I'm your host Ostika Das, and it's been a pleasure bringing you this week's Legal News Roundup. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged and stay tuned to LiveLaw. Thank you for watching.